Happy Friday. Welcome in to Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors as we are going to look at three different potential free agent targets for Seattle. We'll break that down coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, want to say thank you to the 12s for coming through and helping us reach 38,000 subscribers on the channel. Another milestone in the books. And we did it, folks, on my birthday weekend, nonetheless. This is the best birthday present ever. And so I'll say this. I don't ask for any gifts or anything like that. Just subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. We have the latest news and rumors on your favorite team each and every day. We also bring you on the channel our live shows on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And we do our watch parties as well during the season. This is the channel for the true members of the 12s. Subscribe for free today. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We'll get started with today's show. The folks at Yardbarker put out a list of 3 players that the Seahawks could still sign in free agency of who they recommended. Yardbarker, they work with Fox Sports, a Fox Sports site. And we're going to go through these players one by one. I'll give you my thoughts. I'll show you what they had to say and more on today's show. Let's start with a player we have not talked about at all here on Seahawks Today. That is Justin Houston. Justin Houston most recently played for the Baltimore Ravens, and he's had a very fine career at this point in time. Obviously, he's a little bit older now, but what we've seen out of Justin Houston is that he hasn't slowed down, that he still is playing at a very high level even at this point in his career. And so here's what Yardbarker had to say about the possibility of bringing in Justin Houston. The 34-year-old edge rusher showed no signs of slowing down in 2022, logging a team-leading 9.5 sacks for the Baltimore Ravens. His leadership and Hall of Fame-worthy resume would make for an interesting addition to the Seahawks' young defense. Justin Houston, he's had a fantastic career. And not only that, are we talking about a guy that's going to end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame someday, but even at 34 years old, still playing great. Father Time, we hear, is undefeated, but Father Time hasn't beaten Justin Houston just yet. Justin Houston is still going at it very strong and still has, I think, some more good football left in him at this point. And I don't think he's going to cost you that much either this late in the ball game in free agency. A 4-time Pro Bowler from 2012 to 2015, previously playing for the Ravens, the Colts, and the Chiefs. And a couple noteworthy milestones in Justin Houston's great career. He tied for the NFL record for safeties with 4. And also, he has 22 sacks in the 2014 season, which was just phenomenal what he was able to do that year. Chiefs fans that year were able to get, I kid you not, free Big Macs at McDonald's pretty much every week of the season with the performances that Justin Houston was putting together with those sacks that he was able to do. The numbers from Justin Houston, we mentioned, coming off a season where he had 9.5 sacks, leading the Ravens in that total. 4.5 the year prior, 8 in 2020, and 11 as recently as 2019. I like Justin Houston a lot. This would be a good fit, I think, for Baltimore or for the Seattle for this point in time of where they're at. Baltimore's previous team, obviously. I feel good. I like this idea, potentially. A good fit, good veteran presence, good leader, and still playing at a high level. Sign me up. Should the Seahawks sign Justin Houston? This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Tell me what you think. Why for yes, in for no. Should the Seahawks sign Justin Houston or not? Another name that we've talked about from time to time here on the channel is Yannick Ngakoue, who most recently played for the Indianapolis Colts. And going into free agency in 2023, Yannick was one of the top players on the entire market, and he is still sitting available at this point in time. Here's more from Yardbarker on the possibility. Journeyman remains unsigned, mostly due to his liability as a run stopper, but possesses a unique ability to generate pressure and wallop opposing quarterbacks. It is a skill set that makes him valuable to teams like the Seahawks that lack explosive depth up front along the defensive line. Now, when I look at Yannick Ngakoue, I would take him in a second. If all things are created equal and you just ask me, do you want Yannick Ngakoue on your team? I say yes. Yeah. But then you factor in the possibility of bringing him in with the price tag that comes along with that, and that's where things get difficult. Can it be done? Yes, but you have some obstacles in the way. You would have to move around some money of some sorts. Of the three guys we're talking about today, Yannick Ngakoue is the most expensive and is the most sought after, has the most options available of these three guys we're talking about on today's show. The teams he's played for in his career, we've seen him in Indianapolis, Las Vegas, Baltimore, Minnesota, Jacksonville. He was a Pro Bowler back in 2017. That season, he also was the NFL's leader in forced fumbles. And also, you look at, as we mentioned from that article there, the trouble that he has had in stopping the run. The Ravens or the Seahawks are a team that is looking for somebody to be able to stop the run, and that's been a big issue for Seattle dating back to last season, obviously. Looking at the statistics for Yannick Ngakoue. In 2022, at 29 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. The year prior in Las Vegas, 28 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. No doubt, wherever Yannick goes, as you can see, the different uniforms he's worn, whether it's been in Jacksonville, Baltimore, Minnesota, Las Vegas, Indianapolis, he's been good anywhere he's been. That you can plug him in and play him, and he's an immediate impact player. Should the Seahawks sign Yannick Ngakoue? What do you think about this possibility of bringing him to Seattle? S for sign, P for pass. Tell me what you think. S for sign, P for pass, if the Seahawks should sign Yannick Ngakoue or not. One more name to get to from Yardbarker, and that is a familiar name to Seahawk fans, Frank Clark. What about bringing him to Seattle? I have some thoughts, but let's start with Yardbarker first. Finished last season with 5 sacks in 12 quarterback hits, a low since his rookie campaign in 2015. Still, the addition of Clark, along with the newly signed defensive lineman Draymond Jones and Jaron Reed, would revamp a front seven that ranked among the league's worst in 2022. Now, I have stated before, when talking about Frank Clark, one thing I've been very consistent on is that there is a lot of baggage that comes with Frank Clark. Not just on the football field of being inconsistent like we've seen from time to time, but the off-the-field stuff, dating back all the way to his days at the University of Michigan. The truth of the matter is, Frank Clark has been arrested at least 4 times since 2022. That's 2 arrests for every Super Bowl ring that he's had in his career, folks. So I'm just not about that. Frank Clark, even at this juncture in his career, this late in the ball game, he still hasn't matured like you would like to see. And so, sure, it might not cost you a whole lot, but it's just not worth it for me of those things that stack up. A guy that's going to be inconsistent. Sure, he's been a big part of what the Chiefs have done with their 2 Super Bowl rings that they've had the last few seasons. No question about it. But it's been a lot of peaks and valleys where he hasn't always been dependable in the regular season. And then also factoring the stuff off the field. To me, those are red flags. I'm out on the idea of Frank Clark. The numbers from Frank Clark. This is what I'm talking about, the inconsistencies. Sure, he's been good in the postseason, but you got to still win games in the regular season too to get to the postseason. And you can see 5 sacks last year, 4.5 the year prior to that, 6 sacks, and then 8 all the way back in 2019. I don't know what Frank Clark I'm getting week in and week out. Justin Houston and Yannick Ngakoue, I got a pretty good idea what I get out of those 2 players. So before we go, name a player you think the Seahawks should sign, whether it's somebody we talked about today or somebody we have not talked about on today's show. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, somebody you'd like to see Seattle sign. It is Memorial Day weekend. That means that the 2023 Summer of Jones is officially upon us. We had a great kickoff party last night, little birthday party with the Chat Sports crew here in Dallas. Had a fantastic time. And I got to tell you, we're not stopping. We're not slowing down. I want to know, what are you doing for your Summer of Jones? Whether it's this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, or sometime this summer, tweet me at Tyler Jones Live. Send me your photos, your videos, or just tell me what you're up to. I want to hear what you guys are doing, how you plan to spend your Summer of Jones. I'm headed to the nation's capital, D.C., tonight. That is where I will be, also making some stops in Nashville, Chicago, and Phoenix throughout the next few weeks. So follow along my journey, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live. Tweet me what you're doing. Use that hashtag Summer of Jones and tag me at Tyler Jones Live. And I'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.